The depths. The dusty smell of neglect hung heavy in the air as I descended the creaky wooden steps into the depths of the abandoned house. I had always been drawn to the mysterious and forgotten, and this decrepit basement was no exception. With my flashlight cutting through the darkness, I stumbled upon a hidden door, barely visible behind a pile of forgotten furniture. With a hesitant push, the door groaned open, revealing a staircase leading even deeper underground. Each step seemed to whisper secrets of the past, urging me to uncover the mysteries hidden within. As I reached the bottom, the air grew colder, and an oppressive feeling settled over me. Strange noises echoed through the darkness, whispers that seemed to come from the very walls themselves. Shadows danced at the edges of my vision, disappearing whenever I tried to focus on them. Ignoring the chill creeping down my spine, I pressed on, driven by an insatiable curiosity. Suddenly, a figure materialized before me, its form flickering in and out of existence like a faulty projection. Its eyes, empty voids of darkness, bore into mine, sending a shiver down my spine. Frozen in fear, I could only watch as it reached out a translucent hand, beckoning me closer. Visions of the past flooded my mind, scenes of sorrow and despair playing out before me like a macabre theater production. I saw a family torn apart by tragedy, their anguished cries echoing through the empty halls of the basement. It was as if the very walls were alive with the memories of those who had suffered within them. As the visions grew more intense, I felt myself losing grip on reality, the boundary between past and present blurring into nothingness. Whispers taunted me from the shadows, their words twisting and distorting until they no longer made sense. I struggled to maintain my sanity, but it was slipping through my fingers like grains of sand. In the heart of the basement, I encountered a darkness unlike anything I had ever known. It was a sentient force, malevolent and ancient, lurking in the shadows like a predatory beast. Its presence filled me with a primal fear, the kind that whispered of impending doom and inexorable fate. Driven by a desperate need to understand, I delved deeper into the mysteries of the basement, uncovering ancient symbols etched into the walls and floor. They spoke of a ritual, a dark ceremony performed in ages past to summon forth unspeakable horrors from the depths of the abyss. And as I read the words aloud, I realized with a sinking feeling that I had awoken something truly terrible. Caught in a battle of wills with the malevolent entity, I fought to reclaim control of my mind and soul. Its whispers grew louder, more insistent, urging me to surrender to the darkness that threatened to consume me whole. But somewhere deep within, a spark of defiance flickered to life, a beacon of hope in the suffocating blackness. In the darkest hour, I found unexpected allies among the shadows themselves. Spirits long trapped within the confines of the basement lent me their strength, their voices joining mine in a cacophony of defiance against the darkness that sought to devour us all. Together, we stood against the malevolent entity, united in our determination to banish it from this world forever. As the battle raged on, the very foundations of the basement shook with the force of our struggle. Shadows writhed and twisted, lashing out with tendrils of darkness that threatened to ensnare us all. But with each blow struck, with each incantation uttered, we weakened the entity's hold on this world, inching ever closer to victory. In a moment of selfless courage, one of my newfound allies sacrificed themselves to weaken the entity's defenses, allowing me to strike the final blow. Their spirit flickered and faded, consumed by the darkness they had sworn to destroy. But their sacrifice was not in vain, for it gave me the opening I needed to deliver the killing blow. With a final surge of power, I unleashed a torrent of energy that engulfed the malevolent entity, banishing it back to the depths from whence it came. The darkness receded, replaced by a blinding light that washed over me like a cleansing wave. And as the last echoes of the battle faded away, I knew that the basement was finally free from its curse. But victory came at a cost, for I knew that I could never truly escape the horrors I had witnessed in the depths of the basement. The memories would haunt me forever, a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beneath the surface of our world. And though I emerged from the shadows physically unscathed, I knew that a part of me would always remain trapped within their depths. In the wake of the battle, the abandoned house stood silent and empty once more, its secrets buried beneath layers of dust and decay. But I could not shake the feeling that something lingered within its walls, a lingering presence that whispered of unfinished business yet to be resolved. And as I turned to leave, I knew that my journey was far from over. Despite my best efforts to move on, the fear that had taken root in my heart refused to let go. Nightmares plagued my sleep, visions of the darkness reaching out to claim me once more. I found myself drawn back to the abandoned house time and time again, unable to resist the pull of the mysteries that lay hidden within its depths. Determined to confront my fears once and for all, I returned to the abandoned house with a sense of grim purpose. Armed with newfound knowledge and resolve, I delved once more into the depths of the basement, ready to face whatever horrors awaited me. And though the shadows whispered of danger and despair, I pressed on, refusing to let fear dictate my actions. In the heart of the basement, I found the source of the darkness that had plagued me for so long. It was a fragment of my soul, twisted and corrupted by fear and despair. With a heavy heart, I confronted the darkness within, facing the demons that had haunted me for so long. As I embraced my shadows, I felt a sense of redemption wash over me, cleansing me of the darkness that had threatened to consume me whole. With the darkness vanquished and my soul at peace, I emerged from the depths of the basement, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The abandoned house stood silent and empty, its secrets laid bare for all to see. As I walked away, I knew that I was finally free from the ghosts of my past, ready to embrace the future with open arms. As I left the abandoned house behind me, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was still watching, still waiting in the shadows. The darkness may have been banished for now, but I knew that it would always linger on the fringes of my consciousness, a constant reminder of the horrors I had faced. But as long as I held on to the light within, I knew that I would never truly be consumed by the darkness again. And with that thought in mind, I walked boldly into the unknown, ready to face whatever new horrors awaited me on the other side. The Forgotten. As I stepped into the crumbling mansion, the air grew thick with the weight of forgotten memories. The realtor's words echoed in my mind, "Don't go near the basement." But curiosity gripped me like a vice. Ignoring warnings, I descended into darkness. Strange whispers danced around me, chilling me to the bone. Dusty furniture loomed like specters in the dim light. Was it my imagination, or did the shadows move? In the flickering light, I glimpsed a figure standing in the corner, a woman in a tattered dress. Her hollow eyes bore into mine before vanishing into thin air. A sudden chill enveloped me, seeping into my bones. Something unseen brushed against my skin, a phantom hand trailing icy fingers down my spine. In a cracked mirror, my reflection warped and twisted, contorting into grotesque shapes. Fear clawed at my chest as I stumbled backward, heart pounding. A heavy silence descended as the lights flickered and died. Panic rose within me, threatening to consume my sanity. I fumbled for my phone, but it too refused to shine. A malevolent presence lingered in the darkness, suffocating me with its oppressive aura. I could feel its eyes boring into me, calculating, waiting. Echoes of anguished cries reverberated through the basement, tormenting my mind. Each wail pierced my soul, a symphony of suffering from the depths of despair. Beneath a pile of debris, I discovered a weathered diary. Its pages spoke of unspeakable horrors, of a family torn apart by madness and malevolence lurking in the shadows. No matter where I turned, the spirits followed, their ethereal forms twisting and writhing in the darkness. I was trapped in a nightmare from which there seemed to be no escape. As days blurred into nights, my mind unraveled like frayed threads. Whispers taunted me, visions haunted my dreams, and I questioned my sanity in the suffocating embrace of the basement's darkness. A sinister force manifested, its presence palpable in the oppressive air. It hungered for souls, and I feared I was its next victim. Driven by desperation, I delved into the mansion's history, uncovering tales of murder, betrayal, and unfulfilled vengeance. The basement held the key to unlocking its dark secrets. Hidden beneath layers of dust and decay, I stumbled upon a chamber adorned with arcane symbols. Dread coiled in my stomach as I realized the true purpose of this cursed place. The spirits grew more aggressive, their spectral forms twisting and contorting with fury. I felt their icy grip tighten around me, dragging me deeper into the abyss of despair. In a desperate bid for survival, I confronted the malevolent entity, armed with knowledge gleaned from the diary and the courage born of desperation. But the price of victory would be steep. A showdown ensued, the clash of wills echoing through the chamber as I fought for my very soul. Shadows writhed and danced, and the air crackled with otherworldly energy. With a final surge of strength, I banished the malevolent entity back to the darkness from whence it came. But the cost of victory weighed heavy upon my weary soul. As dawn broke, I emerged from the basement, battered and bruised but alive. The mansion stood silent, its secrets buried once more beneath layers of dust and decay. Though the nightmare was over, the memories lingered like a specter in the back of my mind. The basement had claimed its victims, but I had emerged from the darkness, forever changed by the horrors I had witnessed. The shadows. The old Victorian house at the edge of town had always intrigued me. Its weathered facade whispered secrets of bygone eras, and its overgrown garden seemed to hide mysteries within its tangled foliage. One stormy evening, driven by curiosity, I ventured inside. Among the cobwebs and decay, I stumbled upon a hidden trapdoor leading to a basement untouched by time. Descending into the darkness, I felt a chill creep up my spine. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decay. My flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows on the crumbling walls. Something unseen brushed past me, sending shivers down my spine. As I explored further, strange sounds echoed through the shadows. Whispers danced at the edge of hearing, and phantom footsteps echoed in the darkness. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, even though I was alone, or so I thought. The voices grew louder, their words incomprehensible yet filled with malice. I tried to flee, but the basement seemed to stretch on endlessly, trapping me in its suffocating embrace. Every step echoed with the weight of unseen entities. In the dim light, I glimpsed a figure standing in the shadows, a specter from another time. Its eyes gleamed with an otherworldly light as it reached out to me, its touch icy cold. I recoiled in horror, but there was no escape from its relentless pursuit. Scrawled on the walls in faded ink were cryptic messages, written by a hand long since turned to dust. They spoke of dark rituals and forbidden knowledge, hinting at horrors lurking just beyond the threshold of perception. With each passing moment, the malevolent energy of the basement grew stronger, feeding on my fear and despair. Shadows danced in the corners of my vision, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes. I was trapped in a nightmare from which there was no awakening. Days turned into weeks as I languished in the darkness, my mind unraveling with each passing moment. Reality blurred with hallucination, and I could no longer distinguish between dream and waking nightmare. The basement had become my prison, and I, its unwilling captive. In my madness, fragments of the past began to surface, memories long buried beneath layers of trauma and denial. I saw glimpses of those who had once walked these halls, their faces twisted with agony and despair. Their suffering echoed through the ages, a reminder of the darkness that lurked within us all. At the heart of the basement lay a chamber shrouded in darkness, a place of unspeakable horrors where the veil between worlds grew thin. Here, ancient rituals had been performed in the name of power and control, leaving behind a taint that lingered long after the perpetrators had passed into oblivion. As I ventured deeper into the chamber, I encountered a presence unlike any I had ever known. It lurked in the shadows, its form shifting and twisting with unnatural grace. It spoke to me in whispers, promising power beyond imagining in exchange for my soul. Desperate and alone, I succumbed to the creature's seductive promises, willing to pay any price for escape from the darkness that consumed me. With trembling hands, I sealed the pact in blood, feeling the weight of my decision settle like a leaden shroud upon my shoulders. With the pact sealed, the true horror of the basement was unleashed in all its terrible glory. Shadows writhed and twisted, taking on monstrous forms that defied description. The air was thick with the stench of sulfur and decay as the boundaries between worlds crumbled. Amid the chaos, I faced the creature that had once been my salvation but was now my tormentor. Its eyes burned with unholy fire as it demanded the ultimate sacrifice, the souls of the innocent offered up on the altar of its insatiable hunger. In a moment of clarity, I realized the true cost of my actions, the lives that had been lost, the souls that had been damned, all in the name of my selfish desires. With a heavy heart, I prepared to face the consequences of my folly, knowing that there could be no redemption for the sins I had committed. As the walls of the basement began to crumble around me, I braced myself for oblivion, knowing that I had brought this fate upon myself. In the darkness, I heard the whispers of the lost souls, their voices mingling with the howling wind as the world collapsed in on itself. In the aftermath of destruction, I found myself adrift in a sea of darkness, the echoes of the past ringing in my ears. I had become one with the shadows, condemned to wander the halls of the basement for all eternity, a silent witness to the horrors that lay buried beneath. Though the house stood empty and abandoned, its legacy endured, a reminder of the darkness that lurked within the human heart, waiting to be unleashed upon the world. Those who dared to enter its haunted halls would forever be haunted by the specter of their mortality. As the years stretched on, the memory of the basement faded into legend, a cautionary tale whispered by those who dared to tread where others feared to go. But beneath the surface, the darkness remained, biding its time until the next unwitting soul stumbled upon its hidden depths. And so the story of the old abandoned basement faded into obscurity, lost to the annals of time. But for those who had experienced its horrors firsthand, the nightmare would never truly end, lingering like a shadow in the darkest recesses of their minds, waiting to be unleashed once more.